Okay, the pen tool is a little tricky, and a lot of beginners get really frustrated with it because they try to draw pictures by clicking and holding and dragging around. It really doesn't work that way. In fact, don't think of it as a pen, but think of it as a points and angles tool, because that's really what it is. Before we get started, it's important to understand that the pen tool is going to be mapped to this section right here. So if you're following along, go ahead and set yours up like mine. For the fill color, I have nothing selected, and for the stroke color, I have black selected. And if you're not sure how to do that, just click on the one that is the fill color, and then click on this little square with the line through it. Then click on the square with the hole in it, and choose black over here. Then go to your window menu and choose stroke. And I just want to make sure that we're on the same page here. I have weight 1. So if you're showing a different number in there, go to the drop-down menu and choose 1. Now go to the pen tool and select it. And we want to draw a line like this. So this will be point A and point B. So that's easy. Just click once here and once here. And notice that it places a line here. Okay, I want you to notice though that if I keep clicking, it follows me around. If you don't want it to follow you around anymore, you can hold Control on your keyboard and click off of the line. And then it won't follow you around anymore. It'll let you start a new one. Another thing that you can do is just change tools. If it's following you around and you want it to stop, you can change to the selection tool and then click off of it. If you want to delete something that you've created with the pen tool, you can do so by clicking on the selection tool or the black arrow and then selecting the undesired shape or line and then hitting the delete key on your keyboard. Okay, so that's how you make a straight line. What about a curved line? Well, that's a little different. Go ahead and select the pen tool, and then just a heads up, we're going to make a 3-point line here. Point A will be here, point B here, and point C here. And we'll define the angle as we go along. So let's start by defining point A by clicking once on the document. So there's point A. When we get to point B, click and hold. Then, while you're holding, pull in the opposite direction of the angle that you want to create. In other words, I'm pulling to the upper right and the angle is being created in the lower left. And it makes it a little bit tricky when you're first starting out. So when I let go, it solidifies, and from here to here, you can see that a curve is being created at this angle. And if I place point C here, simply by clicking once on the document, you can see that from this point to this point, a curve is being created at this angle, because I already defined it in my previous step. So if I go to Edit and I say Undo Pen, and instead of clicking here, if I click over here, what do you think will happen? From this point to this point, a curve was created that was being pulled at this angle. Okay, what if I don't want this to be an angle? What if I want to go up here and then I want to go straight across? Well, we can do that. Let me say Edit, Undo, and when you're at this stage, click in the middle, and that takes off the future angle. So now if I click over here, it goes at a curve and then straight. Another thing that I could do is I could say Edit, Undo, and I could click, hold, and pull in the opposite direction again and create a different angle. So getting control of this tool takes some practice, but it's a very, very useful tool. If you ever want to continue working with a line, but you've already deselected it or changed tools, like in this case here, you can do so by clicking on the pen tool and then getting closer to one of these edges, and you'll see that the cursor changes. It goes from an X symbol, which would be starting a new point, to a line symbol, which would be continuing a line. So with that engaged, if I click once, then it'll allow me to continue working with this line. And if I want to turn my line into a shape, I can do so by clicking on the starting point again. And notice that the cursor also changes here. It changes to a little symbol that shows me that I'm completing the loop. And now I can treat it like a shape. Any editing that I do to it will be treated like a shape. You can add points to a line also. So for the example, I'm going to use the pen tool and I'll click once here and once here. So I have this straight line and it's a 2-point line. Well, I want to make it a 4-point line. How would I do that? Well, as I move to the place where I want to put that point, the cursor changes. Notice that a plus symbol shows up. Well, with that engaged, if I click, it adds a point to the line. And I can edit the position of that point using the white arrow over here. I can also change the angle by clicking and holding on the pen tool and finding the Convert Anchor Point tool. What if I want to get rid of a point? Well, I'd do the same. I'd get this cursor really close to the point that I want to get rid of until I see a minus sign appear. With that engaged, if I click, that point goes away. It's also good to know how to fine-tune an angle. So if you go to the white arrow, and then you click on the line that you want to edit, and then you click on the point with the angle that you want to fine-tune, you can select either one of these handles and click and drag until you get the desired result. And if you don't want both handles to move, use this tool.